Wow. Well, I've been performing comedy on and off for about 40 years. Hard to believe. I started in LA with a friend of mine, and we hit all the main rooms in Los Angeles and that whole area, the West Side. And he passed away, and I ended up moving to Denver, and I became a part of the Denver comedy scene, which was great. Learned a lot. And pretty quickly I realized that if I wanted to make money at this, I needed to start doing like corporate entertainment. So I did that. I became a corporate comedian, which was great because that taught me out of the gate that my 15 to 20 minutes wasn't going to be enough. I needed to have a lot more. Well, I think I discovered that you need to be a great writer. I mean, comedy is writing and performing. But it really begins with writing. You need to write incredibly well. We need to craft our material in order to elicit laughter. I think one of the misconceptions about stand-up comedy is people think it's so easy. You just get up and talk and tell jokes. And, that's because the pros make it look easy. They've done this forever. And they understand the importance of crafting our material, You don't just get up and talk and be funny. It takes a long time to write quality material. Well, I think my writing style is probably different from others. We're all different in how we do this. But I can tell you how I do it. I approach it with a nugget of an idea. Maybe a joke comes out of my mouth. And I realize that when that joke comes out of my mouth, it's not finished. I may think it's finished, but it's not finished. And the only way you take that joke to the next step, you either continue to work on it in the privacy of your own home, or you try it out at comedy shows, open mics, or whatever, and you begin to fine-tune it and hone it until you finally get it to a place where it seems to work. And every joke is different, but that can take anywhere from a month to a year or longer for one joke. So when I or other comedians talk about crafting the joke, crafting the writing, here's what I'm talking about. I have a joke that I do, and it's, my aunt is 95 years old, and her doctor told her that if she wants to keep her mind sharp, she should work on games and puzzles. She was with us over the holidays, and I sat with her for 2 hours while she tried to solve a maze. I didn't have the heart to tell her it was a QR code. Now, hopefully you laugh at that. But what I did was I took that joke and just changed one word. I wanted to make it funnier. So now I say, she was with us over the holidays and I sat with her for 2 hours while she struggled to solve a maze. See, I used to say while she tried to solve a maze. But I changed that to she struggled to solve a maze. Because struggled is a funnier word. And that makes the impact of the ending, in my opinion, that much better. I think you need to write every day. If all you want to do is be a hobbyist and go up at bars and, do the same 5 or 10 jokes week after week at those bars like open mics, then fine. Usually this is because you have a great job with great pay and great benefits. You don't really need to rely on comedy for your income. But if you want to take this farther and actually eventually be paid for better paying gigs, you need to be writing every day. Every day. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it is a lot of work. So I try to write every single day. And to do that, I have to be very observant and attentive to the world around me. Just the other day, I'm here in Reading, and just the other day I saw a little coffee stand, and it's called, the name of it is Naked Coffee. Naked Coffee. I thought, can I make something funny out of that? I thought, yeah, if you're going to have a store named Naked Coffee, you better be hiring very young, beautiful women as your baristas, right? You don't want to hire somebody like me, you'll scare the customers away. So we need to learn how to be observant of the world around us and try to, take notes. I have either on my phone, I have an audio recorder, and if I see something that could be funny, I will, make a recording of that, or I use the memo pad on my phone and just jot down a note about whatever it is, and I log it away for, future reference to try to turn that into a joke. I think the more you do this, the more you get to a place of discovering when a joke is finished. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing the same jokes for a year and you're not getting big laughs, I think you have a problem. Either you're just in front of the wrong audience, and that sometimes can be the case, but I like to err on the side of fix the joke. Make the joke better, so that it will always land. We always talk in this business of creating a tight 5, 5 minutes that are going to always land no matter where you tell them. And that's important. And it takes time to make that tight 5, It doesn't just happen in an hour. It takes maybe weeks, months to come up with a tight 5 minutes of jokes that will land all the time. And once you have those 5 minutes, put them aside and work on your next tight 5. And then your next tight 5. And again, that might take a year or more to work up to, let's say, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It could take even longer. It just depends on your goals. And it really is a continual process, While you are refining jokes, you are also writing new jokes and then refining those, and then writing new jokes and refining those. It's an ongoing cycle where you are constantly in the process of either writing a brand new joke or refining an existing joke to the point of, success, where it's always going to land. Whenever I talk to new comedians, when I'm teaching or coaching, I always say that we need to put time aside, carve out time to write every day. If you're not doing that, you're just going to be left behind. You're going to be doing the same material. And if you're in a small town or you have a small comedy presence in a town, that gets stale pretty quickly. When people see your face on a poster, they'll say, "Oh, I just saw him last week. Is he going to do the same? Is he going to do the same jokes?" So my advice is write every day, get on stages as often as you can, and get to know the people who book the rooms or book the clubs, or get to know other comedians. So if I had to focus it down to one thing, write. Write all the time. And if you're not writing all the time, a year from now you're going to be whining about how come I'm not getting better shows. It's because you're not spending time writing. It's like that saying we've all heard, writers write. The same is true for stand-up comedy.